everyone. Thanks for joining us today. I am Bobby Puckett, the AFW2 Community Programs Manager. The mission of community programs is to connect you guys with some of the great organizations across the country that are doing some really great things for our warriors and their families. Today, we are joined by Mike Kinney and Greg Bicknell. Today, we'll be talking about Warriors Ascent. Mike, how are you doing today?
I'm doing very well. Appreciate you guys having me, and this is a great opportunity, and it's great to see Greg as well. Saw him a couple weeks ago at our program, and I'm glad to see it looks like he's doing exceptionally well.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a great opportunity to be able to have Greg join us today because he is an AFW2 alumni, and he's also participated from your program. So that way he'll be able to give firsthand experience and what he experienced there. But we'll get to that in a minute. So, Mike, can you tell us a little about yourself and how you got involved in Warriors Ascent?
Absolutely. So I'm a 22-year veteran myself. I spent 22 years in the Army in both the infantry and the special forces as an officer, both in 11 Alpha and 18 Alpha. So infantry officer and special forces officer. Retired in 2015. At that point, I was approached by my boss, who was approached by his former boss, who asked if he knew anybody that wanted to take the directorship of a fledgling nonprofit that helps veterans and first responders with PTS. So at the time, I was, I'll say, still grappling with, hey, what is life after next, after a career in the Army? I'd always had some entrepreneurial leanings, and I thought, what a great mix of, a great mission in helping veterans and first responders, and then also entrepreneurship in taking the helm of, for all intents and purposes, a nonprofit startup. So 5+ years later, 400+ individuals helped, and going on 44 cohorts or class iterations this April. Here we are.
Sounds great. So what exactly is the mission of Warriors Ascent?
We help veterans and first responders with PTS. So when we say first responders, we're talking police, fire, EMS, medical, whomever. So if they've undergone trauma and they're feeling anxiety and inability to cope, stress, depression, whatever it might be, we provide them with the tools to heal and tend the mind, body, and soul, as we like to say. So ours is a holistic approach. So
your events are typically a week long. Can you tell us a bit about what happens at those events and the significance of each one of those things?
Sure. So as I'd mentioned, ours is a holistic 5-day approach. We like to say that we empower our participants to take ownership of their lives and healing. And the way we do so is by teaching tools, a variety of tools that heal and tend the mind, body, and soul. So day one, they'll in process, our veterans will take some basic surveys so that we can assess some baseline data, because we are all about the data to the best of our ability, because we're evidence-based, backed by science, and we're always trying to improve. At that point, they'll meet with our providers, our chief guide, Dr. Bruce Lease from KU, from the Coffin Logan Center for Addiction Research and Treatment, will really lay the framework for, I'll say, what amounts to the cognitive behavioral therapy aspects of our program. And that ends up being the framework under which I'll say that the rest of the program takes place, because we're always referring to that. And really, in essence, what we're getting at are System 1 and System 2 thinking, for those that love to read Daniel Kahneman's book, Thinking Fast and Slow. And really just coming to terms with the fact that your thoughts drive your emotions, which drive your actions. So what they'll talk about are ABC. So antecedents are, the behaviors that precede certain actions, your behaviors, and then the consequences of those behaviors. So it sounds very formulaic, but in essence, what it's doing is I'll say, forcing a degree of metacognition, wherein you really think about your thoughts and how that affects the way you feel, and how the way that translates into the way you interact with people. System 1 and System 2. So System 1 are your automatic things that you don't even think about. So an example is you drive to your office every day. Do you really have to think about the drive. No, you arrive at your office and you're like, here I am. So that's system one taking over. So, again, automatic thoughts. System two is logic, reasoning, and things of that nature, really more deliberate. Well, when the vast preponderance of your life is governed by your system one thinking, if those automatic thoughts aren't serving you, you need to then use your system two thinking to, I'll say, re-engineer that and reassess those suboptimal habits. So the other facets of what it is that we do, yoga, really we like to say that our program is 5 days of what right looks like. And in that, we're trying to inculcate lifestyle habits wherein people, I'll say, assert agency and control over their lives, because that's the other thing. A lot of people come to us and they're somewhat of a ship adrift, and a lot of people think that they don't have control, when in fact they've got more control over key facets of their lives than they think. So that's where those habits come in. So yoga, meditation, mindfulness, even nutrition. And nutrition is really more than just the aesthetics. We're not trying to make pro athletes of anybody, but a lot of people don't realize you've got more neurotransmitters in your stomach than you do in your head. So your overall sense of well-being, in large measure, has much to do with it. It is what you're putting into your body. So a variety of other things, so I mentioned meditation and mindfulness. We'll do artistic expression, so that's a left brain, right brain activity, journaling. We even have a guy that's a black belt in Aikido, a former student. He'll come back through, again, not to make people, pro athletes or MMA fighters, but he likes to bring the philosophical aspects of Aikido to the fore, kind of taking energy and using it, even stuff that seems adverse, but using it to your advantage. So, he brings a lot to the table as well. And then we do some, I'll say, cathartic events. So ceremony for the dead, where we have our participants compose letters to either those that they left behind, or in some instances, killed in the line of duty for our soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, and law enforcement, in an effort to let go. Leap of faith is really, endeavoring to live a better, more fulfilled life, and then leaving those things that are holding you back behind. And that's it in a nutshell. So really, lifestyle habits, a supportive community, and just the notion that by following those 5 days of what right looks like and bringing that methodology back to your life, you have more control over your life and your well-being than you think.
It sounds like a very holistic and comprehensive, week of programming. So what exactly does it cost for our warriors to participate in this program?
$0. So we do, I'll say, a decent amount of fundraising. So we've got some very generous donors, everything from corporate to individuals to grants that we compete for. So the cost to an individual to attend is $0. And for our veterans, those that are coming to us from out of state and require airfare, we're actually able to cover that cost as well. For our first responders, we don't have that ability, but for our veterans, through Veteran Airlift Command and Mercy Medical Angels, we can either get free or low cost to us, no cost to the veteran airfare. So
that is awesome. So I'm going to shift gears a little bit. So next, I want to speak with Gregory Bignell. He's one of our own AFW2 alumni, and I want to find a little bit about Gregory, his background, and then why he decided to participate in the Warriors Ascent program.
Hey, Mike, it's great to see you again, bud. And Bobby, it's finally good to see you in person. We've chatted a lot back and forth, but so I'll tell you my background. I'm a 29-year retired chief out of the 317th Maintenance Group at Dias. 29 years I was med boarded for vertigo, migraines, which I later found out was a new diagnosis called PPPD, which is basically neurological issues that they really can't diagnose. So I ended up having a surgery back in 2018. I came out of the surgery much worse than I went into it. So I'm still struggling with that. I'm now deaf in my left ear. But I had a great military career. It didn't end on a bad note. It just didn't end like I wanted it to. So as I went through about a year and a half of employment with a great company, they took really good care of me and they were very accommodating to what I needed. But I just needed something to take care of me because I never really took that time. I took about 90 days off, like some of us do. Some take more. And then I went right back into work. But in that time, I was planning a daughter's graduation, my retirement, looking for a job and things like that. But I'll fast forward. When I went to see the program Warriors Ascent and the team out there, I had just finished up CPT, cognitive processing therapy, and it had taught me quite a few things. But it was perfect timing because when I came out of CPT, I'd also just come out of concurrently. I went through the Air Force Wounded Warrior Ambassador program, and so in that program, it encouraged me, to really speak out and let my voice be heard and talk about some stuff that may enable other folks, to speak out and then just to connect with people. So I'd been doing CPT for a while. I did AFW2, the ambassador program, and then I went into Mike's program. So everything kind of snowballed in the perfect little deal for me. Because when I got out there, I was welcomed in by a friend of mine. He asked that I come out, the yoga instructor, Kerry Stewart. I've known him for about 30 years, and he's seen some stuff going with me. And he said, "Hey man, I got a program I think, would be beneficial." And so I came out, and what I immediately noticed was just the warmth and the caring and the kindness of everybody that was there. Everybody was all in. Everybody was there for the Warriors. Everybody was there just to make things and really to help us through our own issues and to make sure we didn't compare anything to each other because they were all individual to us. And so as I went through, one thing that I will tell you, and Mike may get a kick out of this because he saw all the Diet Mountain Dew cans that I disposed of. But since I've come back from there, I'm drinking a heck of a lot more water. I'm trying my best to eat better. I've been exercising quite a bit more, working with some of the VA programs right now, and maybe start doing some, recumbent bicycle. But all in all, with Mike's program and with Warriors Ascent and all the people that are out there, it was really unbelievable to me because the system 1 and system 2 that he talked about, I will tell you that when he said, when they were up there speaking and they said there's a system 1 and a system 2, I literally went like this because I've went through all this counseling and all this stuff where I've tried to figure out. And when system 2 hit, it was like, I literally almost got into, came to tears because people kept saying, you got to quit being angry. You got to figure that out or you got to do it. But I didn't understand the system 1 and system 2. So when I figured out that it was okay to not be okay, and I figured out that it was something that, system 1 hits here and I get upset, that's normal. And then there's a system 2 with how I deal with it on the backside. The part I'll end you with and kind of give it back over to you here is, they did this thing called the labyrinth where we walked through it. And the first day I couldn't do it. And by, maybe it's program design, maybe it's because they needed this old guy to feel better about himself at the end, because I couldn't make it through the first time. It's not a hard challenge with a guy with balance. It was a little tricky. And then when we went over to the leap of faith, we climbed a pole, and I think everybody probably thought I wasn't going to make it with how I went through that one labyrinth. But I made it up the pole, not because of me. I made it up because of the team that had developed over the week. And they just really verbally and encouragement wise pushed me up the pole. And I got the top, and my brain didn't want to cooperate with my left foot, which is normal. And, they hung in with me. And that's the way it was the whole week. And that's how it's been since the week. I actually received 2 texts from the team that I went through this week. And so we formed a bond, we formed a team, and I also feel like I formed a bond and a team with the Warriors Ascent. So it was amazing.
That does sound like an awesome opportunity, Mike, Greg. So, some people watching this video, they may be, thinking that sounds good, but I don't know. I don't know if I want to go for a week. I don't know if I want to, go to all the programming. Do you have any advice for the Warriors that are on the fence, whether to sign up with Warriors Ascent or to not?
What I'll tell you is that once you get to the program, you'll realize just how great it is because you'll feel the compassion and the love that's there. And one of the hardest things that everybody talked about in our group on day one was, some people had signed up multiple times and just didn't make it there. I had a buddy reach out to me and I showed up but I was very apprehensive to do any program like this ever. But I'll tell you what, I've been cheating myself. And maybe I hit the jackpot, going through this first retreat because that's what I felt like it was. And if people are skeptical, don't be skeptical about this program. Come, show up. You're going to make friends. You're going to make lifelong friends. And if, like I've always told Mike, if someone has some concerns, which is why I'm on here today, man, have them call me and I'll show them some video documentaries. I'll let them come out and hang out with me and I'll show them I'll talk to them about how I was feeling before. But I am a new man since the program ended. I just am. And I can't wait to keep providing feedback to the Warriors Ascent and the team out there. I hope to come back as a mentor one day, but man, they changed my life. They really did. They told me that, they taught me that, being not okay is okay. They taught me that self-care is something, it's not selfish. And I've always thought of it that way. And I think a lot of us do, but I think folks need to take the time to take care of themselves. That's very important. And that's something I wasn't doing. I want to tell you what, since I come back, the yoga and all this stuff that I learned out there, I am using those tools every single day. And for that, Mike, man, I can't thank your team enough, because I'm telling you, it's changed my life. I didn't necessarily believe it was going to do that when I came in on day one, but man, what an adventure and what a great experience since I come back from there. So I appreciate that, Pat. Please pass that along to your team.
So, Mike, how do warriors that are interested in participating, how do they get connected with you?
Just go to the website. So it's www.warriorsascent.org and hit the application button, the red button. Boom. There it is. Apply, and someone will reach out to you. Our new gal, Tammy, who's our rostering and outreach person, and we'll answer any questions and assuage any inhibitions. Sign up for the newsletter, go to our resources tab. We've got a variety of webinars that we've recorded from, a multitude of our instructors. Amy Schoenhoff, who's our mindfulness instructor, Carrie, whom Greg alluded to, Jeff Miner, who's our performance anxiety guy, limiting beliefs. He trains and works with athletes and MMA fighters and all sorts of crazy stuff. But you can check us, see what it is that we do. We've got testimonials, as Greg so kindly teed up for us. But don't just believe me. Believe that the people that have benefited from the program and the impact that it's made on their lives. That, I'll say, does my heart good. But so, hey, bottom line, come to the website. You'll see what we're about. We've got a variety of resources for you. And if you feel so compelled and want to make that commitment, sign up. It's 5 days. It's a lot better than a 6-week, inpatient, treatment program. I think 5 days is pretty darn good to experience something that'll change your life.
Yep. I've been to the website, and there are lots of resources on there, and I think those are very valuable for our audience to be able to check out. Give us that website one more time, Mike.
Absolutely. So it's going to be www.warriorsascent.org. So Warriors is spelled Ascent is ASCENT.org, not com.
Thank you. I would like to thank both of you guys for joining us today. I want to thank Mike Kinney for what him and his organization are doing. I really want to thank Greg Bicknell for joining us today and kind of giving us a firsthand experience. He went through the program and it's had major impacts on his lifestyle. So, Greg, I really want to thank you for coming in and talking to our audience today.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me on. Thank you, Mike, for letting me be on here with you. I love what you're doing, Bobby. Thank you again.
No, thanks,
Thank
Greg.
you.
Thanks, Bobby. Thanks to you, gentlemen. Appreciate you. Appreciate the opportunity, and all the best.
Everyone, I want to thank you for joining us today. I hope you guys, found value in our video today, and I hope if you're in need of some of the programming and services that Mike Kinney and Warriors Ascent can offer, I hope you go to the website or reach out to us and we can connect you guys directly. Once again, my name is Bobby Puckett. I am the AFW2 Community Programs Manager, and have a great day.